Today we're going to look at how to use the free Google add-on Autocrat to connect responses from a Google form to a template that you've created in a Google document or a Google slide. So the first thing you need to do is create the form that you want the data to come from. The second piece that you need to create is the template that will get shared with the students. So in this case, I've used a document, and I created basically what I want the students to see in the document, and then I used these things that are called tags. Because I've used these little brackets, it's going to pull data from my spreadsheet. So anywhere that you see those little brackets, that's going to be connecting from your data. So once you have your form and your template set and ready to go, the next step is creating the spreadsheet to capture all of the form responses. So to do that, we go into our form, click on responses, and then click on this little Google Sheets icon, this green one right here. Click on that, and then choose Create a New Spreadsheet. So once it's created the spreadsheet, you can see that it has plugged in the information within here, same thing that you would see within your form. The next step is going to be to install the Google add-on called Autocrat, which is what's going to pull everything together. To do that, you're going to go to Extensions, and then Add-ons, and you'll go to Get Add-ons if you haven't used Autocrat before. And you should see Autocrat right here that you can click on, and you would see an install button. So you would have to just give permission for it to use your data, and then once it's installed, you'll come back here to your spreadsheet. Once you have that installed, go back to that extension button, and now you should see Autocrat here as an option. You can then click on Launch to open up Autocrat. So the first thing we're going to do is create a new job. We'll click New Job, and you'll give it a name. So in this case, Presentation Feedback Form, and then I'll hit Next. Choose your template. So I can select from Drive, but I have already gotten this, so I'm going to click Use next to my Presentation Feedback Form, use that one. And you can see that this is the currently selected template, so I can hit Next. And then this piece here, Map Source Data to Template. Basically what this is doing is it's grabbing your tags from your template and it's matching them to questions within your form. You can see that my tag student name matches exactly to a question in my form called student name. So those, it assumes you want to match up together. But some of them, like delivery content enthusiasm, were the tags that I put in, but there isn't a question exactly like that in the form. So I have to choose what it maps to. So in this case, the delivery is going to connect to the rubric delivery, rubric content organization, and rubric enthusiasm audience awareness. So then once those are all mapped, I will hit Next. Now you're going to choose the file name that you want for the Google documents that are created when the Autocrat runs. So for my purposes, if my student is going to receive this feedback form, I want it to say their name, the project name, and then feedback form. So I can say student name, project name, and feedback form. And because I used the tags, it's going to pull from my form whatever the student's name was, whatever the name of the project is, and then the words feedback form will be there. You can choose a Google document, but you can also choose a PDF. For our purposes, I'm going to use a Google document. We're always going to output as a multiple output mode. We'll click Next. We can now choose the destination folder. So this is where the documents are going to go within your Google Drive. So you can choose a folder and just go ahead and select one that you want. So I'll select this folder that I have set up. I'll hit Next. This step is optional and we're going to skip it. We're going to also skip this next option. This one here, share docs and send emails. So we want to share the document with the student. That's the whole point. So we're going to click yes. We want to share it as a view-only doc because we don't want them to be able to edit it. You may want to choose comment. You may want it to be anyone on the internet can view, so that if the parents wanted to see it, you could do that as well. But for right now, I'm just going to choose view-only doc. I am going to allow my collaborators to reshare. I'm not going to send it from a generic no reply address. And then who is it going to go to? Well, it's going to go to my student email address. I'm going to use a tag here. Because I haven't mapped the email address anywhere, I need to make sure that I use the exact terminology here. So student email address. Okay, so if I wrote student email or just email, it wouldn't grab it because I labeled this as student email address. So this needs to be matching exactly with what you put for the question within the form. So you can always double check that on the spreadsheet itself. The subject, again, I'm going to use some tags here. So I'm going to say project name, feedback form, because it's going to the student, so they know that it's for them. So this one's just going to say feedback form. And then I'm going to just type in a message to them. So I'll say, hello, student name. Here is your feedback form for project name. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Mrs. Braille. And that's the email that's going to get sent to the student with the shared document. So then I'll hit next. Okay, this step is really important. Add and remove job triggers. Basically, that means when is this going to run? When is it going to send those emails? When is it going to create those documents? For this situation, we want it to happen every time we submit the form. So we're going to choose a form trigger. So I'm going to hit yes to the form trigger. We're going to say yes again. Once that's set up, we can hit save, and it completes our Autocrat project. If you decide later that you need to make any edits to it, you can always hit the little pencil to edit, but let's give this a try now. Let's go into our feedback form here. Let's go into an example and let's type in some sample student data. So the feedback has gone through. If I go into my spreadsheet, you'll be able to see the data just like you would any other time you're collecting forms. And then notice what has popped up over here on the right. So this is all new stuff that's created by Autocrat. There's a link to that document. You can see the grades in here. You can see the feedback as well as the sentence at the end. Now let's go ahead and make sure that that went to our student as an email. So come in here to my test email and I can see that we have received an email, Project 1 feedback form. Hello, here's your feedback form for Project 1. Let me know if you have any questions. And then that student can open up that same document and review it and ask questions if necessary. So that's how Autocrat can be used. You can do it on any type of form that's submitted. It could be forms that the students submit and something gets sent to them immediately after they submit a form, or it could be something that you as a teacher submit the form. So there are lots of options for Autocrat, but basically its goal is to automate your work, make things easier for you. Anytime that you have data that you want to fit into a template, Autocrat is the way to go.